It's my great pleasure now to introduce Christina Lee. Yeah, that's right. And you know, first I have something that I want to say just directly to Christina, and you know, it's something probably that only you're going to understand. It's not about Star Wars, no. So I feel like probably a couple of people would get a Star Wars reference, I hope. Next gen? Nothing? All right, so what I have to say to you, Christina, is meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. That alone should tell you one thing about Christina, which is also mentioned in her bio in the journal, which is that she loved cats. Loves cats, not love, not in the past tense. I could tell you a story about cats and Skype that involves Christina, but we don't have a whole lot of time, so. Christina, like me and like Luis, survived Brooklyn Law School, and in fact just graduated this morning, so if you have, told you so. And so, you know, in addition to her love of cats, I know that she loves warm office slippers, lot for less, and justice, and people, right, and people, and justice beyond people also. And in terms of the chapter's work around Occupy Wall Street, Christina has been there since the beginning, from her earliest days as a legal observer to really steering and becoming a key part and player in developing the court coordination team and process and infrastructure. Everything from helping to design our arrest tracker database to doing, yeah you did, oh yeah you did, come on, to doing the business of court coordination, which is just a massive cluster thing if you have not done it. For hundreds and hundreds of Occupy Wall Street arrestees, Christina, you're absolutely amazing. I'm so proud to be able to introduce you for this honor tonight. Would you please come up and say a few words to us? Is there a picture of a cat?
I'll email you one later. It's an awkward email, I promise. Thank you, Gideon. That was very sweet. I, first of all, wanted to say thank you to Susan Howard and the rest of the Spring Fling Committee for putting this on every year and dealing with all of us. We're all crazy. We're all kind of cranky. Thank you. Apologies. I had very high hopes for, first of all, this is on my computer because I wrote it 2 hours ago, and I graduated this morning. It's been a little crazy. So, I had high hopes for delivering something semi-profound. It's not going to make it probably, but that's okay. I mostly wanted to recognize the many people who work tirelessly, give endlessly, and love fiercely, because that's what it is when you help to lift someone up so that they can in turn extend a hand to others. Not as an act of charity, but as an act of defiance to anything that stands in our way of our collective liberation. I don't know if Annette Dickerson is here. When I give speeches, I get a little misty also, so, you know. Thanks. It is love when we help each other do this, and we should not be afraid of either calling it that or doing it. It is not just because I'm from California, although maybe it is, but ultimately, I long to be part of realizing a world where people have time and space to know each other, to love each other, and to fully participate in all aspects of society, not just what they've been assigned to socioeconomically or socially. The pauses are really just because I'm tired. We don't have to clap. It's hard to do this when you live in a neighborhood where you never really know where that illegal stop and frisk that will probably happen to you will lead, or when you have family or you yourself are locked up in a prison system that is much more industry than rehabilitation, when you have family in occupied territory, Afghanistan, Iraq, or Palestine, or when you yourself live in that occupied territory. When you have to have a baby because you can't afford an abortion or they don't offer it in your state at where you are in your pregnancy, when your village is subject to drone attacks and your family won't send you to school because, and this is true, the likelihood of you being killed or maimed makes costly education impractical. When you're in solitary confinement, you have no human contact except for maybe a hand through the door to feed you, or when you're being, having handcuffs put on you to be moved, when you might be shot by your neighbor for going to the store for getting Skittles and iced tea and dressing a little too casually. There are too many barriers to name, and people do majestically find time and space to love and jump into the fray and make their voices heard and really change shit, and it's amazing. But it does not need to be this hard, and we don't have to live like this. We, meaning all of us, are the only ones who can change it. Tonight, I'm lucky enough to have my grandmother, 2 aunts, 2 uncles, my parents, and my cousins here. My parents from California, 2 cousins from Boston, and 2 from Poughkeepsie. We roll pretty deep, and in the middle of the chaos and bar review, and planning for these 2 crazy vomit-inducing events in one day, they have helped to keep me steady. Leading those efforts, of course, is my ever-patient partner, Jack. He'll be so elated when I finally take the bar and Mass is willing can finally move on with my life. I want to say thank you to my father for giving me a good leftist upbringing and for giving me the kind of family values that taught me to detest injustice and to love just defiance, and to always ask why the underdog is the underdog. And thanks to my ama for putting up with my dad. Ama, shishidi, wa'ani. Thank you to Chris Monk and his wife Kathleen Trubik, who really helped to make me believe that I could come to law school and do this in the first place. I don't know if I will actually follow your second suggestion of being a federal judge, but I really appreciate that first push. I wouldn't have been able to do it without the 2 of you. Thank you to my uncles and aunts, Barbara, Ron, Dave, Gail, and Tom, who's not here. There are too damn many of you to talk about you individually, but each of you played an important and unique role in guiding me and being there for me over the last 32 years since my mom passed. And thank you again, Jack. Thank you for your love for me and for humanity and for everything. It's hard, like it was just a few hours ago. But we struggled through it, and I love you for it. And to my comrades, I know I will not be able to name all of you, and I will have forgotten some of you, and I really apologize, and hopefully you know how much I mean that and how nerfed out I get thinking about it. Deciding to be an active part in changing all of this is hard work, and I don't actually think that I've been able to do much of it lately, thanks to law school and bar review, so I don't particularly feel like I deserve this more than anyone else sitting in this room, but I am honored that you think so, and I'd like to acknowledge those who I do think deserve accolades along with the other honorees tonight. And some of these people Bina already mentioned, but she suggested I mention them again because of their descriptions. Bruce Bentley from DC 37, he's a family law attorney. I thought he was a former surfer, but he is actually currently still a body surfer, which I think is amazing. And he is the world's best mentor. You can count on Bruce to be compassionate, reasonable, and calm, and always with an eye towards upholding the best interests of everyone and all of us. I want to thank NYC, without whom there would not be a Muslim Defense Project, and whose fierce love has gotten me through this, and who is always in motion. Deb Diamant, housing law, criminal defense, moral support, vegan food, she's totally got it covered. Bina with 2 E's, Ahmad, who has steadily pushed forward with organizing the Know Your Rights trainings in the Muslim community and been an awesome friend. Susan Tipograph, I don't know if you're here tonight. I think it's a travesty that you've never been honored by the Guild, but you are one of the most compassionate and considerate and brave attorneys I know, and really a model for how you interact with other people and with your clients, who are people too. I mean, you know, obviously, but lawyers forget this a lot of the time. Sorry to lump you together like that, but you're 2 principled white dudes who, among other things, always stick around at the end of a meeting to clean up. Think about that. Carl Lipscomb for being the only black man on the executive committee, and his work in fighting illegal stop and frisks under the Street Law Project. And Gideon Oliver for letting me trick him into giving me an internship by loaning him my Xbox. He has repaid me many times over with the opportunity. Not here tonight, but still deserving. Beth Baltimore, a family law attorney at Bronx Legal Services. She has also been my backbone and has been the backbone of the New York City chapter's Next Gen committee, and like Deb, can do just about anything. And Liz Fink, who Lamise previously correctly coined as the lioness, who will fight like mad for any underdog, and it's pretty incredible. Finally, I want to acknowledge Elena Cohen, Aaron Berman, and Judith Anderson. I don't know if you're here, but if you can stand or wave your arms wildly. They showed up early in the morning and stayed until late at night, matching volunteer attorneys with OWS and stop and frisk arrestees, coordinating with jail support, OWS jail support, answering countless questions, collecting information, and being both herder and cheerleader at the same time. I actually had a badge at the beginning of it that said official cat herder that I tried to pass around, but nobody wanted to. And last but not least, Sarah Kunstler and Ben Myers. Are you here? Are you both here? If you could come up to the stage, actually. Normally I'm not this demanding, well, sometimes I'm this demanding, but really, if you could come up to the stage. Sarah and Ben. Oh, and please don't stand behind me. You must stand shoulder to shoulder. It's very important. On either side of me is fine, but not behind me. This honor is yours too. No cheating. Partly because when I say that this award belongs to the people, you get that, and partly because anytime I was working on this, I knew that you were there too. You at 2 a.m. when Zuccotti Park was being raided, and you had to come back from Queens to open the office in the middle of the night, and you stayed the entire day. And Sarah emailing from vacation. And then we'd argue, and then we'd make up, and It was never an argument to begin with. Both of you, it would not have happened without you, period. And this award is yours also because, you know, diversity is this thing that's sort of just like a word most of the time. But knowing when to speak up because someone is trying to hold you back, and when to make space for others, and how to navigate one's own privilege and oppressions, like in the moment, it's so much more real. And, you know, as a woman of color who has both privilege and also is oppressed sometimes, that's important to me. It means a lot to me. I don't know, more than I really want to say because I'm probably going to burst into tears at any moment. But I wanted to thank you both for being such principled colleagues. And I love you both. Shoulder to shoulder. Or shoulder to armpit. Thank you.